Hello and welcome back to the 80s Toy Museum, and today's review is courtesy of a good friend, Jason Swank from Rebel Force Radio, which is the premier Star Wars podcast that I've been a big fan of for many, many years, Jason and Jimmy Mac. And today's review is thanks to Jason, who picked up this San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Ultimate Sergeant Slaughter figure for me. The window to order this thing online was very small, and I guess my days of picking up things online in a small window of opportunity are over. I got a lot of the Masters of the Universe Classics figures that way back in the day, but missed out on this one. Completely forgot he was going on sale that day. And when he sold out, I thought, oh well, that's too bad, because it really is my favorite deco of Sergeant Slaughter. Thanks to this figure right here, and this is my original mail-away Sergeant Slaughter figure, so I think it's kind of fitting. It's kind of like poetry. It rhymes. That the Ultimate Sergeant Slaughter is also a mail-away. And this is my original mail-away Slaughter. I actually got two of them. Got enough points to grab two of these back in the day. Because even though I didn't know who Sergeant Slaughter was, I knew he was a wrestler, but I had never actually seen him wrestle. The character was just so cool. I knew I was going to play with this thing into oblivion. So I picked up a bonus one. And this is my original spare, which even back then I knew I wanted to have a nice one set aside. And the original one is far too many battles with the Iron Sheik, and he had to retire a long time ago.
It's great to be here tonight, see all the American people here to see me do one thing, and that's get justice. Justice for the USA!
And here's a look at the box that the Ultimate Sarge comes in. The sort of classic WWF logo, missing an F. And Sarge waving Old Glory on the front. And when you open up the tab here, this is so cool.
The Cobra Clutch, here it is! Here's the Cobra Clutch!
Sarge's finishing maneuver. And you open it up here and it's got the classic LJN style crowd. This guy has a sign that says, "I'm a maggot. Attend hut." I kind of wonder who these people are. Some of them have got to be based on real people, maybe at Mattel. And inside the box is a removable card and clamshell. And a huge bonus of this packaging is that you can actually remove the figure from the bubble, play around with them, get your pictures, do a little maybe fun videos with your phone, and then place them back in, slide the card back on, drop it down, and he's back to looking mint on card. No paper tear, card tear, or anything like that, and that is so awesome. I wish more modern figures were like that. Slaughter was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive a couple of years back on a G.I. Joe card, but unfortunately if you wanted to open them, you had to tear them open or do the technique of cutting with an X-Acto, and then you've got a permanent cut on there. But being able to play around with this guy, do a video of him, and then put him back on this awesome card with total LJN looking card art. Or poster art, I should say. The cards were all the same on the LJN figures. And he's also got a box of accessories down here too. Also LJN looking. And you can open the box up. What's in the box? It is a bunch of spare hands, an alternate head, and also a jacket. Probably not going to be used on this particular figure, but I do have another Slaughter figure, which I did a video for some years back, and I'm interested to see how this looks on that Sarge, since that Sarge has camo pants. And I'll give you a 360 before I start futzing around with him, but he's in the exact outfit of the mail-away, minus the G.I. Joe logo, which, because it's a Mattel product, they're not going to have a Hasbro trademark logo on there. He's got the USA across the belly. Let's get the original mail-away out. Do a side-by-side comparison. Man, that is so awesome. Love vintage toys, and it's really cool when a modern toy is done in the image, style, and detail of the original one. It's been a long time since vintage toys started getting reissued or updated, and we've never seen Sarge in this outfit except for this one. This was one of the other San Diego Comic-Con slaughters. He was released in 2 decos. One was the Triple T looking outfit, and then the other one was the mail-away outfit. This one is okay. I mean, I've never really been crazy about this, just because it doesn't look like Sarge looked like on the show. It looks like Sarge looked like in the ring, and I've always been a bigger fan of Sarge in G.I. Joe than Sarge in wrestling. The green is a little too dark. It's a G.I. Joe figure, and he does have the G.I. Joe logo on one leg, but nothing on the other for some reason. And the face just doesn't look like the Sarge. I guess the original was kind of blank too, but just kind of blasé. But my biggest issue with this San Diego Comic-Con version is the lack of musculature, because the original Sarge was jacked. He's like the first Joe that was really muscular, even more muscular than Roadblock. And that's what the Ultimate Sarge definitely has, since he is an actual wrestling figure. He's got that over muscular look. Looks like he, even though he's not in the cartoon outfit, he looks like he leaped off the screen of the cartoon. And he's got some really awesome joints too. Build quality is really nice. Some of the modern wrestling figures are a little gummy, but this one actually feels like he's got some nice tight joints. That's a ratchet joint, actually. That's surprising. You don't see that too often in a wrestling figure, ratchet joints. Great. Look at this shoulder articulation. Usually it's just an up and down movement, but he's got this, it's called a butterfly joint. He can do the Hulk up type of thing. And tons of articulation. Wrists go around and in and out. Awesome bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. Feet are great. He's got this extra little Spider-Man toe articulation. I guess that's good for putting the boots to the Iron Sheik.
USA, you maggot! Iran, you jabroni!
A thigh swivel right there, and also at the calf. The cut here. So many, oops. Didn't have that on the show. So many great posing possibilities with him. I mean, you can do the Shawn Michaels double bicep pose. That's always a sign of great articulation if a toy can do that. He's just a sexy star. He's not your fifth in charge. And let's talk accessories. And even though this guy is officially a wrestling figure, he feels like a G.I. Joe. Feels like Mattel has gotten away with something here, putting out a wrestling figure that actually feels more like a cross between a wrestling figure, a classic 80s wrestling LJN figure, and a G.I. Joe, because he's got a ton of accessories, more than most wrestling figures do. He's got the Sarge's white belt, which is probably somehow removable. I wouldn't want to risk getting this over his thighs, but Sarge has his white belt, and he's also got a whistle. The Sarge figure that I did a review for some years back, I had to get some pieces from another Sarge figure to make my Ultimate Sarge before they actually made an actual Ultimate Sarge. So it's nice that this one comes with everything. If Sarge had it, this guy has it. So it comes with his little whistle, which the Canadian exclusive version actually works. And a removable hat. Doesn't come with the Sarge's hairline from the cartoon, but he does come with silver sunglasses that reveal his ferocious gaze. And I mentioned the jacket that he comes with. Let's pop that on right now before I try that on the other Sarge figure and do some comparisons. And it is attached at the front with Velcro. It's cool to see more and more of these wrestling figures coming with soft goods. The Roddy Piper They Live figure which just recently came out, which I'll be doing a video for soon. Also has a soft goods flannel shirt. And here's the jacket. On the Ultimate Sarge, you can either have him pop the collar. Maybe he's doing a little bit of investigating, like a gumshoe, but probably looks better to just put the collar down. And it's nice that I can actually fold that collar down. On some materials, it just will not either fold down or stay up, or however it's supposed to be. It's just all messed up. But this is a nice little jacket, which I said earlier, I wouldn't really have it on that. I wouldn't want to cover up the good old US of A, or just the fact that he's in the Mail Away original 86 outfit. But that is a really, really nice looking jacket. Really nicely sewn. Like, this is pinched here to make it tighter at the arms. I don't think I've ever seen that on a figure this size. Usually it's just you get the giant cuffs on a jacket. So that is going the extra mile there. That's really nice. Let's pop this jacket off. It does make it a little more difficult to get the jacket off, but it's not that big a deal. And let's take a look at some of the other accessories that he comes with. Maybe the biggest one is this one, the one that's almost always missing. Sergeant Slaughter's swagger stick, aka baton, which this doesn't look really all that baton-like. The original one looked more like a baton. But Slaughter in wrestling, there's some pictures of him gripping it from both sides and bending it. So this is a really bendy material, but it's supposed to be, because I remember the picture of him grabbing it from both sides and bending it with the sneer on his face. So I think that's cool that you can recreate that classic image of Sarge doing it. Lots of hands too, way more than a typical store version of a wrestling figure. I think it's awesome that the wrestling figures are now including an extra pair of hands that are like in fist position, or the Macho Man has the ooh, yeah, hands open, or the finger point is so important. And this is a really important accessory for the Sarge. Hand gestures are so important in professional wrestling. Sometimes it's not about the facial expression, it's about the hand expression or the hand gesture. And Sarge being able to point at a maggot and telling him drop and give me 20, that is a very important accessory for the Sarge. And a couple of other hands as well. I want to make sure I'm getting the right hand here. Don't want to do a left-handed salute. This is another very important one. It's awesome to be able to do a salute with Sergeant Slaughter. He's still got, even with these great shoulder joints, he's still got a little bit of limited range in the elbows. It takes a little bit of finagling, but you can get a hand up there for a salute. So you can salute his classified Duke or Flint figures, or Hawk when they eventually get around to making him. And with these hands, he can actually get down on the ground and do push-ups right alongside his trainees. Although the Sarge only needs one hand and 1 foot for push-ups. And there's also for the other arm, same hand. Also, you can point with the other hand as well. It's nice that they include 2 of each, 2 fists, 2 gripping hands. And if you want to take the gripping hand, by the way, these pop out and pop in perfectly. There's no trepidation here about, is this going to break? Does this feel fragile? That's as good as it gets. With the gripping hand, there's a couple of things he can grip. You can grab the whistle, and can he actually? Yeah, he can actually hold it. And it helps if you take the whistle off from around his neck, but he can actually do it. I'm surprised. He has a lot more range than that They Live Roddy Piper figure does. You can get it right up to his mouth. And of course, the swagger stick. And that's the stuff right there. That is so awesome. That might just be the pose that I keep him in display. It's really intense, bending the swagger stick. Really shows off the traps, the shoulders, the biceps. That is a super, super cool pose. Kind of reminiscent of the LJN pose of Sergeant Slaughter as well, but you get to incorporate the swagger stick in there as well. It's a super floppy, bendy material. It's not meant to be straight. If you wanted to straighten it out, you could, using the hot water and cold water transition technique or a hair dryer. Personally, it's so thin, I don't think it really looks all that good as just a straight swagger stick. It does have a little loop on the end if you wanted to fit it through his wrist. I'll show you how that works. Just pop the wrist off and then pop the hand back on, and you can actually get it. It's kind of a tight fit, but you can have it like that secured onto his wrist if you want. Or that's a cool look too. One hand holding the swagger stick and the other hand pointing, or pop this off and have the other hand with a warning fist to Cobra or the Iron Sheik. Iron Sheik should be in Cobra. I hope we get to see Iron Sheik as a Cobra someday. And he comes with another head. This is a weird one. This kind of looks like a heel Sergeant Slaughter head. This is the face he makes when the Ultimate Warrior is pounding on him. And let's see how easy it is to change these heads. Incredibly easy. Doesn't get better than that. And a comparison of the two, Sarge has that trademark giant jaw 10 hut. That is so awesome. So the difference is the eyes are a little more opened on the one, and the mouth is more open. Let's take a look and see what that looks like. Pop that back on there. One thing to watch out for when you're popping the head back on is watch out for this whistle necklace so it doesn't get caught up in there. And that's kind of a funny face without the sunglasses and the hat on. Let's pop those on there and take a look and see what that looks like. Still looks kind of heelish. So it's there if you want it. But I prefer this one a lot more. The head that was already on there.
You scums! You slimes! You maggots!
And I just gotta say, if you are an adult, but you still like playing with toys, or you wish you could play with toys, this is a toy that you're gonna have a lot of fun playing around with, because I think this is, as an adult, what playing with toys is. It's swapping parts, changing different looks, changing different hands, and trying different poses. It's kind of like art. It's kind of like sculpting in a way. It's like working with clay and making a sculpture out of clay. That's sort of what this is. You know, like Play-Doh or plasticine, moving things around and getting poses that you like. It's a super fun figure to futz around with, thanks to all of the extras that they've included with them. I'm going to give you a couple of side-by-sides now, and then wrap the review up with an epic cage match with Sheiky Baby. So stay tuned for that, but I already did a side-by-side with the original Mail Away and with the San Diego Comic-Con modern Sergeant Slaughter figure. And here's the Sarge figure from that first video I did some years back, and he's wearing the Power of the Purple, the Lavender Championship belt, which he's procured in shady fashion from the Ultimate Warrior. There is no comparison here. Holy smokes, this is comparing ice cream to horse manure, to quote Bobby Heenan. The elite bodies don't just have more articulation, they look better. This is not an elite, so all he has is front and back and one knee. bend, like no leg articulation basically. He's not as muscular. He doesn't look like a G.I. Joe. This one looks like a wrestler, and this one looks like a cartoon character, which is why I just love this one so much. And that's the whistle that I got off a different Sarge, and the sunglasses I got off a different Sarge. You can mix and match a little bit if you want. If you want to give this guy a green hat, that looks cool too. The whistles, I believe, are the exact same sculpt, exact same mold. The sunglasses, I think, are the same, except these are made in a dark silver, and these are a lighter silver with black lenses. And different head sculpt too, actually. This is a totally new head sculpt. I didn't realize that. And if you want an all camo Sarge, you can pop that jacket on this version of Sarge. Have him camouflaged from head to toe so you can sneak up on the Iron Sheik. That's a little too much camo, in my opinion. Sarge, to me, if he's not in this outfit, he's in black and camo. And the man he defeated for the Lavender Championship of the World, the Ultimate Warrior. That looks a lot better than the other Sarge with this Warrior. And if you're going to display these two guys together, I think another thing you need to display alongside them is that right there, which pretty much sums up their working style with each other. And I know a lot of G.I. Joe fans are wondering, how is this new Ultimate Sarge going to look with G.I. Joe classified figures? And the answer is better than this Sarge. Way better. Sarge was bigger than all of the Joes, almost all of the Joes. And I think he's the absolute perfect scale to go with classified figures. He's quite a bit taller and thicker, more muscular than the other figures, but he has the super poseability of the classified figures, which just looks so much better than the lack of articulation, especially the rigid legs on that version of Slaughter. I think he's just absolutely perfect, and this is the Slaughter that I'll be displaying with my G.I. Joe classified figures. I love that you can kind of have him hanging in the background and still easily visible, just because he's such a giant. He was a big guy in wrestling, and he was a big guy on the G.I. Joe cartoon. And even though he wore the Triple T outfit on the cartoon, for me this is the Sergeant Slaughter G.I. Joe outfit. I've always preferred this outfit when it comes to the G.I. Joe line. And in the spirit of the 80s, just how Hasbro put out their own rubber Sergeant Slaughter figure that crossed over into the LJN line, even though he wasn't an official LJN wrestling figure. Anyone who was lucky enough to have the Hasbro rubber 8-inch Sergeant Slaughter figure used it in their Sling 'em Fling 'em ring. In the spirit of that crossover, I think this figure works perfectly, crossing over, being officially a Mattel wrestling figure, but going just so perfectly with Hasbro's classified figures. And since he is officially a wrestling figure, and I know Jason is a big classic wrestling fan, let's take a look at what some of the belts look like on him. The Lavender Championship, which he won at the Royal Rumble 1991. And because of the white belt underneath, actually, looks like you have to move it down a tiny bit. You know what? It doesn't fit. Sarge is just so big and muscular that even with the, just almost on the final connection point right there with the white belt moved out of the way. There you go. You can futz with it a bit. You can get the Lavender Championship on the Sarge. That is awesome. Let's get some different hands on him. You can have him with these hands on his hips too. They don't have to just be saluting hands, but I think it works especially well on a championship belt like that. It really draws attention to the belt. I think that looks fantastic. And the Lavender Winged Eagle belt, to me, is just as synonymous with the Warrior as it is with Sergeant Slaughter. Warrior only wore it for that one day at the Royal Rumble 91. and Sarge won it from him. And I always wondered if that was actually a joke, a rib that the Warrior played on Slaughter. You're finally getting the world title, but it's going to be light purple. And the more traditional color of the belt on a black strap. Pop that on there, connect it on the back. It'll feel at first like it won't fit, and then there's actually plenty of room, and the white belt actually holds it in place perfectly. Or you can put the pointing finger, having him pointing at the belt. That's what it's all about. And I just found another use for the open hand as well. It makes a perfect wolf petting hand. And there's one more belt I want to try on him, but it's currently being worn by the Iron Sheik. And so I'm going to do a little bit of what if myself, and what if, instead of Hulk Hogan defeating the Iron Sheik for the world title in '84, it was G.I. Joe, America's hero, Sergeant Slaughter. I think they've got some unfinished business from the last video I did, and the only way they're going to settle it is inside a 15-foot salad steel cage.
The Slaughter cannon sends the Sheik down. Fantastic maneuver on the part of Sergeant Slaughter as he clotheslined the Iron Sheik. Slaughter now in control definitely of this match.
You look like a big fat tub of lard.
Oh, right in the forehead. Suplex coming up. Beautiful suplex. Climbing up to the top turnbuckle on the outside. Got the Sheik where he wants him. Back down on his back on the canvas. Look out. Elbows. Oh, look at that shot. He went into the steel post. Sheik now sent for the ride. Wham! Right on the button. How much punishment can one individual take? And the chant goes up, USA. Capacity crowd on its feet. Let's listen to him. Uh-oh, look at this. Cobra clutch.
That's it. The Cobra clutch. 22,000 strong on their feet and a chant of USA. Slaughter is not about to let go.
USA number one. USA number one.
This bout, and new World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion,
Sergeant Slaughter. Unbelievable. As the Sheik went down hard. And the chant goes out, USA.
Well, I'll tell you, very popular victory indeed. Sergeant Slaughter, your winner.
Sarge pulling out all the stops. Just going for broke. Lowering the boom on the Iron Sheik.